What's that? War were declared.
But not really. So we've got an update now on what happened with that attack on Israel today. It looks like so far the US and the UK, along with Israeli forces, have shot down the vast majority of the drones and the missiles, even though they told us not to. And then Iran responded with Iran's UN mission says military action concluded. This came out just 3 hours ago. They said that their business with Israel is now concluded, assuming that Israel does not have any type of retaliation to this attack. And with that, we saw a bounce, at least in the crypto market. The stock market is obviously not open today, so it might not even react to this, assuming that nothing further happens going into the weekend. So it will end up being a bit of a nothing burger. But there was a significant drop in crypto today. If you were watching it today, it was dramatic. My account dropped by 30% since yesterday in minutes. It was pretty intense. I watched all my Solana go down to almost sub 120 from 210 less than a month ago, or about a month ago. And so that was a pretty dramatic drop. It was a flash crash, completely news driven, something that none of us could have foreseen, and had a pretty dramatic impact on the market for at least a very short period of time. So as long as nothing else comes out of this situation between tonight or tomorrow or going into next week, we probably won't see a big bump in the road on stocks. Now, crypto, on the other hand, has taken a dive. It is still trading lower than before the news, so this is having an impact. You can see that today we had that drop on, well, technically yesterday, according to the crypto charts, because they're on a different timeline than or time zone than us, or at least than me. So it went down. It closed down minus 4.61%, but the whole candle, let's take a look. The whole candle had a move of 9.76% today on Bitcoin, which isn't unheard of in Bitcoin. It's actually even less than what happened on March 19th, and a little bit more than April 2nd. So, I mean, it's not unheard of. It wasn't an insane drop, but it was kind of out of nowhere very quickly, and it could have easily deteriorated further, but it did not. And you can see where it bounced. It bounced right here at 61,000. So it does look like, if we're looking at this chart here, let me turn off all my drawings. Right here at the $60,000 level, it's a pretty strong level, and Bitcoin doesn't seem to willingly want to tread back into that level. Now, with this move down, any thoughts I had of this being a cup and handle, those are done. This just that ruined that. I'm going to get rid of this right here. We're clearly very strongly outside of this. We're even outside of this ascending channel now. So now I'm waiting for a new structure to form on Bitcoin right now to make any kind of assessment of where it's going to go. We do have the halving next Friday, so that'll drag it back up hopefully very soon after that. Maybe this will be a sell the news, but maybe since we got such a dramatic drop since April 11th here, coming down up from 71,000, almost 400, all the way down to 61,300. We could, maybe that was the drop that we would need to see going into the having to make it not be a sell the news event. I don't know. We'll see though on Friday. We'll see when it comes. So let's look at some other cryptos here. So we're going to do a crypto roundup now. So Bitcoin's kind of stabilizing after all that crazy news. So are the others. Let's take a look at Solana, how that reacted to this news. And let's look here. So I've done significantly more charting on this. I had a pennant coming in here, and we broke that pennant to the downside. Look how dramatic it was, right? We had 1, 2, 3 days on this thing, and then yesterday's news dropped it, and then today dropped it further. Yesterday's news took us to this buy zone, or this supply zone, excuse me, from 149 down to 139. And then today that just cut through that supply zone and almost went to my line down here at 118.50 that I drew like a week or two ago when I did my last coverage of Solana. So we got real close to it. We actually went down to, where were we at? We went to 121.79 today, and we bounced up from that all the way up to 137, and now we're resting at 136. If anybody picked up some Solana down here at the 121 something range, congratulations to you. That's probably going to be a pretty sweet entry point on this. I did pick up some yesterday, and I was looking at picking up some more today. I wanted to see how much further this situation was going to develop, and it turns out that it really didn't develop into much so far. It doesn't look like it's going to continue to develop, especially with Iran coming out, going to the UN and saying our business is concluded, assuming that there is no retaliation to it. So really, it's kind of, nothing. Uh, nothing to see here. Everyone go home. And the crypto market is reflecting that now with its big kind of bounce off of those bottoms here. But now we do have to fight back up through the 130s and 140s to get us back up into range on Solana, where we will have like this pocket before we get up to like the 160s to 170s. And then from there, we'll have a chance of shooting for the all-time high again on, or at least the cycle high on Solana again once we get up there. That, of course, will likely happen sometime post-halving now. So this has significantly like decreased the price going into the halving likely. I don't foresee a big old run up next week. The tensions are still a little bit tight, unless there is some sort of catalyst. I don't see Solana really running really hard next week, maybe not even the week after, until we start to see Bitcoin really take off from the halving here. So this kind of inadvertently turned into like a really weird head and shoulders over here. You can sort of see it, like we had a shoulder here, head there, and then like this really weird slump shoulder here, and the neckline really was right there at 162. You can see we had a couple of taps on it. 162, and then once we broke through that, we just all the way down. It looks like that has completed though, being down here at this 120 area. It looks like it's completed any of those types of patterns that were forming in the chart. And from here, we should see some up movement. If we can get up and above 155, once we're up and above 155, I would say like the downturn is flipping towards the upside from there. So kind of sweep the leg on us there today, but it is starting to show some strength on that. Let's look at some other charts that we don't normally look at for crypto, since that's the only thing I can really analyze today after the events of the day. Let's take a look at Cardano. So ADA, I don't know if I've ever talked about ADA on this channel or not, but I'm going to do it today. I am a long-term holder of ADA. I've been holding ADA since 2017. It's one of those that I've been holding for a really long time, waiting for it to do like that big parabolic move, which it kind of has a couple of times, but none of it seemed like really big enough. I'm hoping this cycle it's going to be really feel big enough. I've been holding it for such a long time. I just kind of forget about it for the most part and just kind of watch it do its thing. But this too had a bit of a head and shoulder pattern in the chart run. Shoulder, head, shoulder with a little mini shoulder there, and then once we broke that line at 55 cents, sorry, not 55 cents. Once we broke that line, we really came all the way down to this historic support back here at about 40 cents, and that's where we bounced there. And that's some very strong support at that 40-cent level. I don't foresee us breaking through that. If we do, though, that's going to be quite dramatic on Cardano. If you're a holder of Cardano, we're likely to come all the way down into the 20-cent range, again into the 20s again on Cardano if it breaks this 40-cent level. It doesn't look like it's going to. I think we would need another piece of just absolutely dramatic news to see it do a cascade like it has done here in the last couple of days. So unless that does happen, unless somehow this does become a wider conflict, I don't really see that happening. We are severely oversold on the daily on this thing. We are getting a VIX fix and a bottom signal on the RSI here. Volume today, even with today's news, volume was lower than on Friday when it was initially announced that there could be an attack. So, I mean, things already seem to be cooling off in a big way for these things right now. On SEI or SAY, I'm actually underwater on this one. I bought this one up at about 82 cents. Back over here in March, like mid-March, I was buying it on the upswing. I bought another somewhat sizable bag around the like low 70-cent range, and you can see now we're just taking we just went off a cliff on this one. We came as low as 41 cents on this thing, so I'm about 50% down on my SEI holdings right now. I'm not too concerned about that because obviously the bull run hasn't begun yet, and I am willing to hold it going into that. There are a few clues in the back of this chart that do indicate that a drop down to this level at some point was likely to happen. Like you got these two big tweezers back here from March 15th and 16th. And then you got like this very controlled, if you remember from the Bit Digital video earlier today, you can see this controlled buying algorithm followed by aggressive selling, controlled buying algorithm, followed by aggressive selling, which got significantly more aggressive off of the news event. And we'll draw a channel so you can really see that, drive it home, that controlled buying, very tight, small moves up. That's controlled buying. And then as soon as we got the break on this one, just dramatic, aggressive sell-off. And then again down here, it'll probably be a similar angle. Yes, it is. Very similar angle. Stay just in the bottom half of it here. Very controlled buying pattern. And then we broke it. And then this candle right here, that was the signal that we were going to go further down. So I'm just kind of watching this right now. This one, I mean, maybe 42 was the bottom. Maybe that was a good place to purchase SEI. Of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. This could be the bottom. We don't know. We won't know until we know. Honestly, it's going to have to start making a pattern that is facing in the upward direction. We're going to have to start getting some staircase up sort of movements on this thing for me to say, yeah, it's going back up again right now. And then I might, I might improve or not improve, but add to my position of this once I start seeing some structure in the opposite direction going for that one. Now let's take a look at a meme coin real quick. The meme coin, this is Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu was already kind of in a selling pattern. You can see this selling channel right there, kind of like this. And honestly, there we go, about right there. We stayed right within it. Even with this news, we stayed right within it. You can see I did it from these two candles right here, the 6th and the 7th, from the top of the 6th to the bottom of the 7th. And we just went, in the last 3 days, we went from the top of the channel all the way to the bottom of the channel, stopped right at the bottom of the channel, which just also so happened to be the wick on this candle back here from March 3rd, 2024, right around the bottom of that wick, and then we bounced from there, and we're going to hold this. Now, for this one's been selling off since it did its run up in February and March, and like the meme season's kind of done for now until it comes back again, and when it does come back again, it'll be quite explosive. So we're looking for, honestly, some flat action on these bad boys for the memes. Yeah, we're looking for something that's going to look more like a sideways sort of sideways sort of accumulation pattern on the memes, and then waiting. Once you see that, you'll wait, and then you'll wait, and then you'll see a breakout candle followed by another breakout candle, followed by another breakout candle, followed by another breakout candle. And then once you are outside, fully outside of that channel, which would have been right here on February 29th, once we had that candle printed, then we were off. We were taking off like a rocket. So I'll be looking for something like that, something that's going to indicate sideways action on this coin for a while, on this token for a while, and then follow that up with explosive growth. And I'm going to go ahead and draw something on this chart right now. I don't know if this is going to play out like this, but I'm going to draw this sideways channel right here on Shiba Inu. And when it breaks out of this thing, when it breaks out of this sideways channel, let's see what happens. I'm very curious if once it breaks out of this, because that would mark the bottom of this resistance area here, and if it can break above the bottom of that resistance and start trading above that, that's where I'd be looking for an explosive move upward. Now that is, of course, if it stays inside of this channel. It could break it to the downside and then just continue back down and get further and further down from the top of this previous cycle move. So we don't know what it's going to do, but I'm going to leave this on here for now. I'm going to see what this thing does. And there are so many more cryptos. If you want to see me analyze any specific crypto charts, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Those are the only ones I can think of to cover right now. I do hold every single one of these cryptos that I talked about today. I do think that this issue that occurred today, that news that occurred today, will probably end up being a nothing burger by the time the market opens on Monday. Maybe. We'll see. That's assuming that nothing new develops about the situation between now and then. So with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.